Dressage is derived from a French term commonly translated as training that has become an equestrian sport defined by the International Equestrian Federation as the highest expression of horse training. Horse and rider are judged and scored on their performance of predetermined movements. The beauty and grace expressed in the competitive arena are the same skills that enabled warriors in ancient Greece and more modern cavalry soldiers to maneuver in battle as they dodged oncoming sabers or held formation for a charge or retreated with an injured fighter. Xenophon, an Athenian disciple of Socrates and cavalry general, developed the art of horse training as influenced by his philosophical training. He developed the idea of training by teaching a horse to trust humans and allowing a horse to enjoy itself while performing complex maneuvers rather than through punishment. As warfare progressed from the heavier cold-blooded horses that are suited to carrying the knights in the Middle Ages, hot-blooded breeds like Arabians and thoroughbreds were introduced to create swifter, more elegant warm bloods that predominate modern competition. Today, dressage is an Olympic equestrian sport. The 1912 Stockholm Games were the exposition for the first military test that evolved into the different disciplines of dressage, eventing, and stadium jumping. After the U.S. cavalry was disbanded in 1948, the focus of dressage shifted to civilian competition, and in 1952, the first women competed in the Olympics. By 1973, pioneers of military and foreign horse training founded the U.S. Dressage Federation. Shirley, what do you enjoy the most about this lifestyle?
Well, dressage, you become a complete horse person. If horses are what you really enjoy, you become a more complete horse person because you really have a unity with the horse. Every movement you make on that horse at the higher levels means something, and every movement he makes means something, and you create a true partnership because you have so many years together. And also, if you enjoy horses, they define the rhythm of your days. Feeding them in the morning, cleaning up after them, ordering your hay, talking to the shoer or the vet. It's a lifestyle, and it's social. You get to know everybody with mutual interests, like any group who has a mutual interest. It's a group of people who love.
Alright, my name is Kathy Sherwood, and this is my horse Razmataz. She is a half quarter horse, half Dutch warm blood. I have had her just over a year now, and today this is our third show together, and we just did first level, second test, and got our first 72%, so very happy about that.
Good.
Very, very happy. Let's see, so
What is it about dressage that you find the most demanding, and what makes that worth it? What do you love about it?
So I love dressage because I love the consistent challenge of all of it, and the consistency is one of the most challenging parts of it. I love that you can see the advancement level by level, and you can see your own growth, and you can measure your own growth, and you can also see what other people are doing and where you can go. I think that's really exciting. I love the different, as the tests come together, they're all individual pieces, and we all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses, but getting to put it all together in front of a judge and in one time and place, I think is really kind of special and really neat. Especially when you get to do it with your friends and family, and it's something that I think we all work really hard at, and to be able to see that progression is really valuable. By day, I work as an engineer and salesperson at a large engineering firm, so when you talk about dedication, I get up pretty much every morning at 5 and ride before I work, I also have a 2-year-old. He just turned 2 yesterday. So I'm a mom and a working, mother, and I have an amazing team of people that help me do this all the time. There's only so many hours in the day, and I think people ask me a lot, how do I get it all done? And I get it all done because I get up early, I stay up late, and because I have a great group of people that help me do it constantly. It's hard when it's cold out or when it's hot out or when you don't feel great or they don't feel great. You're always working with a team member that has its own mind and its own good days and bad days. And so it's a constant give and take too. It's not just about how you're feeling that day, but how is your horse feeling? How do you come together as a team? And that's one of the most magnificent and exciting parts, and also sometimes the most frustrating part certain days.
So I'm Jill Graff. This is my horse Stuart, and we are new to dressage. I bought him 2 years ago. He was a jumper, and I didn't want to do any jumping anymore, and I didn't want him to do any jumping anymore. So we switched to dressage, and I found a wonderful trainer and got us both in full training. So you had asked me earlier what I might find overwhelming about the sport, or what I might find exciting about being newer to the sport, having been in it for about almost 2 years now. And really, I think with dressage, it's a relationship with you and your horse. Stuart and I have a very good relationship, and he's my best friend. He listens to everything that I say, doesn't repeat it, doesn't make any judgments. So with dressage, it attracts many type A personalities and many perfectionist personalities, of which I am one. And you really understand that you could do everything right or everything wrong, and you're working with a partner who weighs 1,300 pounds, and anything can happen at any time. So for a perfectionist, that's difficult, because if you're doing something yourself and you mess up, you probably can get a different perspective and really come down hard on yourself. But you have to respect the partnership that you have with your horse. Some days he doesn't feel well, some days I don't feel well. Some days he gets excited about the cows, like yesterday. We haven't ridden yet today, but who knows what he's going to think. But really, it's always learning. There's so many different levels. We're at one of the lower levels that you can be in, but it doesn't matter. It's always learning. It's always exciting. It's always like this. And this is what it's about. So the same relationship we have on the ground, we have a relationship on under saddle, where I do certain things, he's supposed to do what I ask him to do. I don't always ask properly. When I ask properly, he doesn't always answer properly. And that's sort of what it is for a lower level dressage rider. You're always listening, you're always learning. And I think it's great. But this is my favorite part of the whole thing, is the relationship with the horse, and just being part of it. It's an ever advancing. You can advance all the time, but you're never going to be perfect. And so accepting that helps you in other aspects of your life realize that it's the journey, it's not the destination. It's such a funny horse.
You like that, Stuart?
Chestnut Oaks Drummer Boy, and he is a drum horse. They're the horses in the Queen's Cavalry in England, and they're traditionally half Shire and Gypsy, or half Clydesdale and Gypsy, and they carry the drums in the Queen's parades. He's actually 7 years old, and he is in dressage training. So he's learning to do dressage. He's not the typical breed that does dressage because he's a draft breed, but he's a very hard worker and a very sweet boy. And my trainer is lovely and does really well with him.
Hi, my name is Christy Rogers, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of the relationship that you have not only with your horse, but also with your trainer. It's a three-way business type of thing that you just work so well together, and there's mutual respect, and it's just really important to have a trainer that you trust and works well with you, because there are so many, and you don't click with everybody, but the ones when you do, it just is an amazing process. So we love our trainer.
And so you've been a trainer, and you've sort of gotten away from doing that as actively lately. Could you talk about that and its toll on you?
I feel much happier.
And that is?
Well, you know, when you take care of people's horses, you're basically on 24/7. Those horses always need to be fed. They always need to be taken care of. And although we had help, the help wanted to take off sometimes too. And then when the help wasn't there, then we would have to do it. We tried to take, we would work Monday through Saturday. We would work half a day Saturday, and then we would take, and we would work half a day Sunday, and we would take the afternoon of Sunday off, and we would take Monday off, because usually, you know, if you went to a horse show, which we did quite a bit when we had a competition stable, you know, you come home from the shows on Sunday night and you're real tired, and so Monday you just really didn't want to do anything, or you had to do a lot of your personal things like your laundry and go grocery shopping and all the stuff that you have to do to maintain a life. So it was, I did it for many, many years, but you know, working 6.5 days a week for years, you get tired of it.
Yeah.
And what happened to me, I don't even know if this is relevant to this, but you can certainly record it. What happened to me is you start to get, you know, because you don't really have a social life then, because you work in this industry very hard to be successful, and so you don't really have any, or you have few friends and acquaintances that are not actually involved in your daily life. Most of the people that you see day in and day out are your clients, and you start to make them your friends, which is always a huge mistake. They're not your friends, they're your clients. You know, and that was a hard lesson to learn, because you do become emotionally attached to people that you see on a regular basis, and you have a project with them.
Oh, I'm Megan, this is Savant. My name's Mary, and my daughter Megan is one who rides dressage.
And he's
He's an 8-year-old purebred Arab, and this is their third show. He is going to be today doing second level and third level, and the movements that you see with Arabian dressage, the horses they go up the levels, and the complexity of their movements goes up as they go up in the levels. So it's really hard on a horse to be able to take them, if they haven't done the lower levels, and put them right into the higher level movements, because they haven't gained the muscling and maturity yet. So you'll see horses in all sorts of age ranges, but usually it's the older ones in their teens who are doing the higher levels, and then the younger ones doing the lower levels.
is 8 young?
Yes, 8's pretty young.
Dressage goes from training level to Grand Prix, and it takes a rider with 10 years experience, at least 5 years, to make a Grand Prix horse. So it's a sport that requires a great deal of patience. We have test sheets. This is a first level test, for instance, and there are directives on every single movement that give us the qualities to judge, to remind us of them, like the tempo, the straightness on the center line, the balance. It might be the lengthening of the frame, if they have a lengthened movement. Many things, and the farther up you go, there are more things to judge on. There are, for instance, 18 movements on, 18 movements on this that we judge within a period of, say, I don't know how long this test is, but three minutes or so. And then we have 6 overall movements that we judge. And then generally we make a comment of our overall impression to the rider at the end. We do all of this in about 3.5 minutes.
Hi, my name is Charity Weaver, and this is my horse Kiss. You asked me a little bit about my riding and being a little bit isolated from the other people whenever we're not doing showing, and not having a whole lot of friends who understand exactly what we do and how our lifestyle is, and how we put so many hours into something that they don't even understand.
Yeah.
It's, for me it's been a lifelong thing. I've been riding for 21 years now, and I love it, and I love having the relationship with the horse, but when you have your own place and you ride by yourself all day every day, it gets frustrating because most of your friends, they think that the horses are pretty, but they don't understand what you do, and they don't understand why you put so much time and money and effort into it, for a ribbon at a show. But it's great whenever you get to come to shows and you get to hang out with people who really understand, and they can see whenever you've made progress, and really support you in what you're doing and in your goal, because it's just a lifelong thing. You're always learning in dressage.
Okay. My name is Ellie Stein-Masick. I'm from Marana, Arizona. I'm a USEF senior dressage judge. I'm a USDF gold medalist. I've been training and competing in dressage for about 40 years. The question was how or what allows people to become professionals, or
Yes.
well, in the United States anybody can hang up their shingle
Oh.
and be a professional. There's no required government licensing certification. In Germany there is, I believe in Holland there is.
Sorry.
And I believe in Great Britain there is. The United States Dressage Federation, which is our national governing body for dressage sports in the United States, does have an instructor certification program, and they also have a learner judges program, and it certifies instructors through 4th level, but to be a professional you don't have to have certification. And a lot of the young people who become professionals have come up through the young rider ranks and done the North American Junior Young Rider Championships, which is a Precinct George level competition, and they go on to become professionals. And some people just they like to teach, or they think they have something to offer and they can help somebody, and they do. Sometimes they don't, but they think they do, but that's that's pretty much the way it is in the United States.
Well, my name is Lucy Zuries. I'm a student of Ellie's, and I've ridden for almost 50 years, but I spent a lot of my time jumping, and then the past 12 years I've been doing dressage. And I'm certainly not a professional. I consider myself an amateur because, I have another job which is completely different. I'm a professor at the University of Arizona, and so,
What do you teach?
I teach chemistry and astronomy.
Oh.
So, this is sort of a different use of my mind than what I do at work, and so it's a great way to train the other part of your mind, as opposed to doing a lot of math and things like that. Although dressage is very precise, so there's this sort of precision in precision about it that makes it a lot like science. So anyway, I will never be a professional because I do other things, but
In order to judge, they have very specific requirements from the United States Equestrian Federation. And the very first one is you have to have met the riding requirements for the level you want to judge. You have to have a certain level of success at that level from different judges and different scores that you have to meet. And I met the riding requirements and trained a horse to that level and trained riders to that level successfully. And then you have to go through training programs for every one of those levels that are written and oral, and you have to co-judge with other judges who have to pass you. So it's fairly rigorous. I mean, to get my social work license, which I have, I only had one oral exam. For this, I have 4. and the written requirements are, I'd have to say, more difficult.
What are, so you are a smith, a,
For sure.
horseshoer, and those are made out of copper.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. What's your name?
Edward.
Oh my goodness. Aren't those amazing? They really wear something like this on there.
Yeah, it started out just as a straight bar. And I just kept thinning it out.
Oh.
And I just found this by accident. Somehow,
Oh, these are decorative. I'm sorry. That's what you mean.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
yeah, air comes right in all of these. And it mixes together, air and propane. And then it just will heat up to
Oh, and you put the shoe in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
just
Oh, there we are.
then you have
Thank you.
Okay. And also, like people that like to do dressage, they have to be patient because this sport, it takes, a lifetime to do it correct. And it's a really nice feeling when you get the right moment. But you have to be patient. You have to be, thoughtful about how you can approach things. And when you get it right, it feels like you almost more like, like you fly into the moment. It feels so nice. But it takes, a lot of time. And, you have to ride consistently, like at least, 4 to 5 times a week. And a lot of people, the problem is because it's a little bit expensive, so not everybody can afford to do it. And we're trying to kind of like, even at the shows, we're kind of trying to come down on the prices too, because many people, they want to, start and doing this and kind of go to the shows. It's too expensive for the first time for them to do that. So, and also we have like a schooling horse shows, and those schooling horse shows are a little bit cheaper. And so that's usually what we take, like the beginners there, so they kind of have a little bit of experience with the shows and kind of build the experience from there on to go to a really recognized show.
So Philip, could you talk a little about the aspect of the lifestyle that is the cost of maintaining an animal and taking part in these events for local riders?
Well, for the dressage shows, of course it can vary. But generally these girls either have their horse in training with somebody, or if they keep it at home, they visit the trainer regularly, 2 to 3 times a week, sometimes once a week. But if they have their horse in a boarding facility and their horse in training with the trainer, I would say even at more reasonably priced places, these girls are probably spending at least $1,100 to $1,200 a month to board and have their horse trained or take lessons. And of course that doesn't include the cost of the horse or the equipment that you need to ride the horse. And it doesn't really include the horseshoer that needs to come every 6 weeks. And generally that's about, depending on the horse, about $100 every 6 weeks. Or the vet, because they're athletes and they get injured sometimes. And so sometimes the vet has to come see them. And that doesn't include any of that. And it of course doesn't include the fees to come to a horse show.
How does that compare to how much it might just cost to own a horse that is not used competitively, that you keep at home? Or
I would say that's significantly more.
Yeah.
I would say a horse that you keep at home and is in reasonably good health, I would say that might cost you, if you own your own place, where you can keep horses, I would say that costs you maybe at the most a couple $100 a month.
Okay, my name is Rita Self.
Okay.
Zoe is a 14-year-old half-linger male.
Could you say the 14-year-old half?
Linger.
Okay. And also, I wonder if you or if other riders tend to have kind of heroes or people that inspire them in the sport.
I do, yes.
Do they tend to be local riders or riders on world-class levels? Or?
I would say world class, and then there's some local riders that I admire.
Okay. How do you feel about your performance at this show?
Really good. I was able to, I needed a second level score, and I was able to get my other second level score.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Does that mean you qualify for the state?
I'm trying to get my bronze,
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
I haven't really done the state thing. My focus has just been to get my bronze with her.
Good. What does the bronze mean in terms of levels or qualifications? Or
It's just a rider score. It means that you've achieved two scores from first level, second level, and then third level with different judges, different shows, and the score has to be a 60 or above.
Well, congratulations then.
Thank you.